everybody? This is Sleep, member of Memes and Dreams and Quantum of Robocraft talking to you, and we're here in Killing Floor 2, and this is going to be, as you could tell from the title, a tier list of all the perks. There's not going to be any gameplay this week. I'll do that next week, but I kind of wanted to establish a baseline of the game itself. So, what are we looking at? Let's go through all the perks, and then I will list them in order. If you don't want to hear me describe all the perks and what they do, I'll have a timestamp in the description down below, taking you right to where the list is. So, let's get into it. Starting off with Berserker. This is obviously a melee tank class and my preferred class. It is the only class that I have prestiged 4 times. I've prestiged Commando. I have not really prestiged anything else. All my XP values are bugged. They've been bugged for years. Even whenever I prestige, it would reset and it would look like the SWAT value. And I get to 25 and it jumps back up to this. I can't explain why. So, Commando. As you can read, the perk bonuses, right? 25% Berserk damage. That just means melee damage. 15% damage resistance. No one uses night vision. Clots can't grab you is huge. We go into the actual skill menu of it. You have this little loadout that you get to pick. Skirmisher is far superior to Dreadnought. Always take Skirmisher. Vampire and Butcher, this depends on how you like to play. I always prefer Butcher. Things can't hurt you if they're dead, and if they can't hurt you, you don't need to heal. Resistance, so this is the only one, if you watched my Berserking tutorial video, link in the description and card above. This is the only perk choice here that I think is debatable. I always prefer resistance because bloat bile is really strong and blinding, and I hate sirens. I've been traumatized from Killing Floor 1, dude. Siren screams used to pull you in, and they did straight health damage. They ignored body armor. It was awful. Awful. Parry is really good against specific enemies, right? Against Flesh Pounds, you can just go ham. Against Skrakes, you can go ham. King Flesh Pound, Hans, Abomination. Well, no, you can't really parry the Abomination, but you get my point. Resistance is really good against the Abomination. All of his attacks count as bloat bile, aside from when he just eats you, but you can't parry anyway. So Smash, I've always recommended Smash over Massacre. The added headshot damage is insane, man. So heart attacks do 50% more damage. That's okay. Most of the time whenever you're fighting a boss, you're going to be spamming heart attacks. When you're generally mobbing, like early on in waves and whatnot, you'll probably be spamming light attacks, aside from like Alpha Clots, Gore Fast, Gore Fiends, stuff like that. 200% more stumble power, that's actually very nice. I don't know if it came out in that Berserker video, but I know in my time playing, I've gotten several Skrakes stun-locked because of stumble power. So it's very good. Don't take Massacre unless you really hate getting headshots. Like, if you can't hit heads with a crap, take Massacre, because Smash with headshots is nutty banana sauce. Spartan is infinitely better than Berserker Rage because you can put far more distance in between Zeds chasing you and, yourself with Spartan whenever you're moving in real time during Zed time. When everything slows down, you just take off. This is much more survivable than Berserker Rage. Berserker Rage sounds good in theory. Spartan's infinitely better in reality. So that's the Berserker breakdown. Let's go to Commando. So Commando is your typical first-person shooter class. They spot stalkers and the Patriarch whenever they are invisible, and they will call them out. And they also see health bars. They have increased damage with assault rifles, of course, even though those aren't really a thing. Fight me in the comments. They have Z time extensions, so whenever Z time starts and a Commando gets a kill, Z time gets extended. This can happen up to, I think, 6 times. Of course, they have night vision capability. No one uses night vision. If you do, you're a liar. And reload speed. This is actually really nice. Let's go to the perks. So, this one's up for debate. I always like tactical reload over high capacity mags, but they're really kind of the same thing. I like tac reload for mobbing purposes. High capacity mags might be better for boss fighting and for big Zed fights. Fallback, I always start with this. So on waves 1 through 3 on a long game, probably waves 1 through 3 on a medium as well, and wave really just 1 or maybe even 1 and 2 on short games, Fallback is a very, very nice perk. Because with a 9mm, if you get headshots, you get a one-hit kill headshot on all the trash Zeds. So it's really, really good because 9mm ammo is really cheap. Impact rounds, this is really good once you get past, like I said, those first 3 or 4 rounds. I would always switch to impact, but I start on Fallback. Prepared or tenacious. This depends on if you trust your team or not. If you trust your team, take prepared. If you don't, take tenacious. Survivability is good. Prepared only works if you can live, right? What good is all that extra ammo if you die too fast? Hollow point rounds. This one, again, is debatable, but I really don't think... I think the top one is far more easily to be debated. Hollow point rounds, I think, is much more cut and dry. Double your mags, which means you just go through ammo faster, which on boss waves, ammo is kind of a big deal. I've seen several people just run out. Or you could make each bullet do 25% more damage. So you're going to end up at level 25 with 50% added damage compared to level 1 if you take this loadout. I highly recommend that. Again, you can switch these depending on what you think is better for you. And I would always recommend starting with Fallback and then moving to impact rounds. This is based on your team. I like Hollow Point over Eat Lead. Now the Z time perk is a bit more up in the air. So either you just go reload and shoot normally, or you do more damage. Personally, this is the weirdest thing from whenever I play Commando. This one, the machine gunner, seems better. But I always end up having to reload in Z time as a Commando, so I would probably take Tactician. And I know that's the weirdest thing, but I would almost always take Tactician. Obviously, I haven't finished leveling this perk up after I prestiged it, but that's what I would do with it. Okay, support. This is the shotgun class. This is a fun one. So as you can see, you are the welding guy. You can weld doors. This support almost always combos really well with Demolitionist. We'll talk about that when we get there. They mainly use shotguns. They have increased carry weight, which is good because shotguns are heavy. Penetration, this stat looks way better than it is. Very rarely does this actually matter. Like, very rarely does it matter. Extra ammo, that's always nice, especially if it's a passive buff, right? Commando had to pick it, you know? Increased weight capacity, ammo, backpack, and door repair. This is actually huge. So a support has this thing where you can go up to them once a wave, interact with them, right? Press E. You'll get, I believe it's 20% ammo, and if they have resupply pack, which we'll get to in just a moment, you'll also get armor, which is really nice. So they start with a shotgun, an 9mm, a machete. Like, everyone has a unique grenade. I guess I should go over those. Let's go back up to Berserker. EMP grenade stops enemies from doing special attacks. So if you throw it at a flesh pound while they are, like, pulsed, you'll see it's like blue electricity. When they're pulsed, they cannot rage unless they're already raged, in which case it does nothing. You hit an alpha clot with it, they cannot enrage, meaning they can't buff other people. I don't know if it does anything to husks. Never really cared. I know it calms down a raging Scrake for while it's under that EMP effect as well. EMP grenade's actually fairly good. It's one of the more middle ground. It's not garbage. Commando, this one's garbage. Support, also garbage. They're the same thing. HE and frag are the same thing. Now let's get into the actual perk choices here. So I've almost always, again, taken tac reload, but it's just like the Commando one. It depends on what you're doing. For boss waves and whatnot, high capacity mags is a better choice. Remember, in between waves, you can change these. These aren't set for the entire game. So when you're going into a boss wave, high capacity mags might be better. Tac reload I like for general mobbing. It's just the way it works for me. Salvo, this is almost always better than Fortitude, but it also depends on your team. If your team sucks, Fortitude might be the way to go, but Salvo is also almost always a very good choice as well. Supports have a ton of ammo. doing more damage will often lead you to surviving more. And it's a 50% buff compared to the 20% that Commando has. This one is kind of up in the air, as this one supports one of those classes. You know, it depends on how you want to play it. I would honestly recommend Salvo, but I can see why some people take Fortitude. Tight Choke is far superior to Armor Piercing Shot. There should be no debate on this one. Tight Choke means everyone knows what a tight... I hope everyone knows what a tight choke is in real life, right? It just it literally decreases your spread from a shotgun. So it's much better. It keeps everything nice on that headshot line that I talked about in my Berserker tutorial. And it's just a really, really good choice. Much better than Armor Piercing. If Tight Choke was up between Fortitude, that would be a much tougher choice. But I would still probably recommend Tight Choke. Resupply pack, this is huge. Right? The teammates gain up to 30% ammo, so it actually buffs the ammo thing by 10%. 20% armor by interacting, and you can carry up to 20% more ammo yourself. So the support's just a walking arsenal, really. That's what it boils down to. And the Z-Time one, this is just, again, the penetration, it sounds nice, it's not worth it. This one is just better. It's just better, because whenever it says they shoot in near real time, that means the projectiles go in near real time. So not only do you pull the trigger and it goes boom, 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 just like it would if you weren't in slow motion, but the bullets and the pellets go that same speed. So that's just really good. Medic. Like, how do I have 5 XP? Someone explain that to me. Anyway, this is a very, very crucial perk, but only if your team size is going up. So, Field Medic, the value of a medic increases as the team increases. So, obviously, everyone knows what a medic does, right? You heal people. Your syringe, right? How you heal normally. Every perk has the capacity to heal themselves or someone else with a med syringe. Medic's syringes recharge faster. This also applies to your guns, because medic guns, the alternative fire shoots out a homing healing dart. Your potency means you heal more. Means medic's the best healer in the game. Shocker. Bloat bile resistance, this is actually very, very nice. Bloats, especially the Abomination. I think this was actually put in mostly for the Abomination, so that the medic could deal with it, and that's nice. I personally really appreciate it when I play medic, because not dying to bloats is very good. Movement speed. So this got nerfed, I don't know how long ago, but it got nerfed. This used to be 20%, and this meant that medic could almost keep up with Berserker, and it was really good. You'd run a medic and a Zerker combo, or you'd run 2 Zerkers and a medic and a 3-man, and you'd be basically perfect. You could kill everything. Armor bonus. This is actually really nice. It's very similar to the Killing Floor 1 armor bonus, where medic armor is just god tier. But once you're out of armor, you're out. But this combos really well with the support resupply pack. So, you got that. And medic is really, really cut and dry. The left side is all team-oriented. The right side is all solo-oriented. The only one that I think is really debatable for team play is the combatant doctor. And that's that if everyone on your team keeps dying and you don't really want to join them, you can take this because you start moving 10% faster, so you get back to that 20% speed. Symbiotic health, this is a really good perk, and you can forego this. I don't recommend foregoing this, but if you communicate with your team and tell them to keep you at around 60, 50 health, resilience is really strong. I would still recommend Symbiotic health for almost every single player, but resilience is not to be trifled with. Adrenaline shot, this gets really dumb, especially with a Berserker, because you start going literally supersonic speeds. I've hurt myself with fall damage by going up a ramp too fast after I got adrenaline shots. It's nuts. Combat Doctor, of course, Combatant Doctor. It's just, I would not even look at the magazine size. It's really just movement speed buff. That's all it's there for. This gives other people movement speed buffs. This gives you a movement speed buff. Focus Injection. This one's really, really good. A lot of people don't think about this, but as a medic with the assault rifle, I can't remember the name, I'll have it on the screen. That rifle at max tier, you get, I believe it's 3 darts and a 4th almost immediately after. So you can full boost somebody to a 20% damage buff, and if you can coordinate this, that's insane. Like, actually insane. 20% buff for 5 seconds. Now, I haven't actually found anything on if these are 5 real-life seconds or if these are 5 in-game seconds. Meaning, I don't know if you go into a Z time and you get this buff, if it's extended past 5 seconds or not. If it is, Berserker is nuts. Berserker's nutty with this anyway. Because you combo this with the Coagulant booster, and you get damage resistance, which means Berserker with a medic can just frontline for days, especially if you use the Bone Crusher, which has the highest or second highest blocking multiplier in the game. I think it is still the highest, which multiplies all incoming damage by 0.3. It's nuts. Berserker is insanely tanky with a medic who has this. It's absolutely nutty banana sauce. Acidic rounds, this one is actually garbage. Never pick this perk. I guess you can if you're playing solo, but never pick this perk. Battle Surgeon, if you're playing solo, it's good, because you have no one to use this on. But if you're playing solo, why are you playing medic? Airborne Agent, the only reason this is good is because it's better than Sedative. Airborne Agent just makes you have a healing Nova around you. I mean, it works. It heals people. It's good. Medic is very self-explanatory. Left side for team play, right side for solo. Demolitionist. So Demolitionists have very, very defined roles in teams. Mainly, you are to clean out a very, very big frickin' group, or you are there to kill flesh pounds. And there are other perks that kill flesh pounds, meaning I think Demolitionist value's gone just down the pooper, man. So we're looking at the passive bonuses here. You get 1% damage per level. Does not help that Demolitionist has the worst starting gun in the game, in my opinion. This pistol just sucks, man. It just sucks. 60% explosive resistance. This is so you don't blow yourself up, which has happened quite a bit. 5 extra explosive ammo. I mean, it helps a little bit. The grenade supplier. So teammates can come up to you and get a grenade from you once per round, similar to the support. This combos really well with the other really good grenades that we have in the game. Field Medic has a medic grenade that's really strong. That is it shoots out blue mist that heals you, damages Zeds. It's really, really good. Half a stick of dynamite. It's really good for blowing up everything around you and also yourself. Be very careful with this. That's about it. Reactive armor means that whenever something hits you, doesn't really do a whole lot. I've never understood why they say this. Door traps are really, really fun, though. So a support, the way this works is a support can weld up a door to, like, I think it's 60%, and the demo comes in and finishes welding up to 100%, and then that door becomes explosive. So whenever that door breaks down, it literally just goes boom, and a lot of stuff around it dies. You can do this very tactfully, and sometimes it's really good, sometimes it sucks. Support also can repair the doors, so whenever they blow up, you can come back and fix them. Going into the perk choices now. Again, left side is, I think, 112% superior to the right side. And I don't even think Demolitionist is really worth playing until you get to perk level 15, where you have the sonic resistant rounds. Because before this, if you shoot an explosive and a siren is screaming, that explosive just disappears. It's gone. So, Bombardier, I like more damage over this when I'm playing in a team. If I'm playing solo or with like 2 or 3 people, Shock Trooper is better because being able to shoot more often means I'm probably not going to die. And Stumble Power is really, really good from getting away from big Zeds. High impact rounds. This is really important for dealing with flesh pounds. So Bombardier and high impact rounds, if you just dome a flesh pound, you could actually one-shot a flesh pound with an RPG dud fire. Meaning if you hit you're within the range and the RPG doesn't explode, you can just rip a flesh pound's head off. 6-man hell on earth. It's nuts. What else? Extra rounds. This one, I've never seen much use for it, because almost always when a Demolitionist shoots something, it's because there's a high priority target, because Demolitionist ammo is expensive as hell, dude. Again, sonic resistant rounds is just too good to not get. Fragmentation rounds is good, but the likelihood of you actually being able to like utilize this properly with how many sirens spawn, if you are playing alone, you can keep your distance and this might work. If you are not, sirens are going to be screaming all over the map, because that's just how Berserker and other kind of close range perks work. So you're much better off taking the sonic resistant round here. Armor piercing rounds. This, and this. All three let you one-shot a Flesh Pound's face. If I think you need like one medic boost. Nuts. You're almost always going to try to hit a crit spot. And remember, Flesh Pounds have 2 crit spots, the head and the chest. You're going to hit one of them. Just don't shoot at Skrakes, by the way. Skrakes have a resistance to explosives unless you're doing the headshot thing. Then an RPG to their face kills them. Concussive rounds. It might have been Skrakes you can one-shot, not Flesh Pounds. I apologize. You can burst down a Flesh Pound with a Seeker 6, though. I do know that. I've done that before. Concussive rounds increase reaction, stun, stumble, and knockdown power perk weapons. This is good, but it's only good, I would say, on endless. On the endless kind of setting. I don't know what you call it. Game mode. Endless game mode. This works if you're anticipating an endless, like, Skrake or Flesh Pound round. But because whenever you shoot an RPG and it hits an area around, or even like 2 or 3 of them, they will all stumble. You know. So, doing more damage to 1 or stumbling 3 for your team. Destroyer of Worlds. This one's much better than Mad Bomber. The nuke, because this doesn't kill you. Mad Bomber does kill you. So, Destroyer of Worlds is better. Thank you. Okay. Firebug. Also known as the Trash Mop, because it just does nothing but clean them up. This is a exclusive trash killing perk. Never fight a big Zed with this thing if you can help it. You're most likely going to hurt your team if you do. So perk weapon damage goes up, as it should with every perk as you level it up. Reload speed goes up, that's always nice. Resist Zed fire damage. The only Zed that really does fire damage is a Husk. But you can't kill a Husk anyway, because they resist your fire as well. Sorry, I had a text. Immunity to your own fire. This is really good, because with this perk setup, you are going to be walking through your own flames a lot. Through the fire and the flames you will carry on. Starting ammo, it's a nice passive buff. Molotov Cocktail. It's just a nice thing to get your ground fire and your napalm going. I don't have ground fire on. This was actually for a very specific purpose. Let me adjust this. So Bring the Heat is much better than High Capacity Fuel Tank. Ground fire is better than barbecue, unless you are doing a Spitfire build, in which case you will take barbecue. Napalm is really, really good, especially if you're like doing what I would recommend doing, which is you have a flamethrower and you're spraying the ground and a choke point. So everything is funneling together, touching shoulders, rubbing, and also getting lit on fire from the ground. This just means you get a ton more damage out. Heatwave is mediocre. This is good for Spitfires whenever you're just mag-deading into like a Flesh Pound or Skrake's face, because you'll have to do that if you take that build. Firestorm is better for literally everything else. Pyromaniac, much, much better than Inferno. Pyromaniac is far and away the superior choice there, and it makes the Spitfire build actually usable. Okay, Gunslinger. Nail Bomb sucks. One of the worst grenades in the game. Gunslinger has movement speed, which makes it really good. This perk has the highest DPS potential in the game if you can land your headshots consistently and often. So you get perk weapon damage up, as you do with every perk. Bullet resistance, this is useful against Pawns, against Edars. Patty will still shred you. This does nothing for Patty. 20% recoil, I should say reduction, just says recoil. You get less recoil. And you reload really fast in Zed time. Always good. So what other things do we have? Ignore movement speed penalty when aiming down sights. If you aim down sights often like I do when you play this perk, this is really good. Otherwise, you can just quick draw it if you just hip fire for days. Rack 'em up, far better than Bone Breaker. This rewards you for getting headshots and encourages you to keep them going. It's really, really good. If you get, like, this works really well with Z-time synergies. So whenever a Z-time happens and you have Whirlwind of Lead down here, and there's a Flesh Pound, like, just walking towards you, you can absolutely murder his face with one Z-time if you just keep the headshots going. Speedloader. I love Speedloader. I love reloading fast. All right, I have this annoying habit I picked up when I was playing Call of Duty when I was like younger, where I'd reload after every kill, and I almost do that in Killing Floor 2 as well. So suffer no damage reduction from that. No, this is like penetration with the support. It doesn't matter. You're most likely going to be using one headshot to kill almost anything in the game, like 2 for husks and bigger Zeds. I think it's like 2 for a bloat, that kind of thing. Skullcracker, very good crowd control. Like, very good crowd control. Do not take knock 'em down. This, again, encourages body shots. You don't want to do body shots. Bone Breaker and knock 'em down are, like, they sound good. You're hurting yourself and your team in the long run if you're doing these. Skullcracker's much better. Whirlwind of Lead. I think Whirlwind of Lead is amazing because most, if not every single Gunslinger weapon, I can't think of one that is, like, not this way. They just fire as fast as you can click until they run out of bullets. So some people I know have macros set up for Whirlwind of Lead. Whenever they hit a Z-time, they just hold it down and it just lets it fly, dude. Fan the Hammer. Sorry, Fan Fire. It's basically Fan the Hammer. It's mediocre. Why would I want to reload in real time when I could just not run out of ammo? And I set up a macro to make me shoot faster. You know what I mean? That's Gunslinger. One of the best perks in the game. Sharpshooter. Probably has the best grenade in the game. The freeze grenade is nuts with what it does, dude. Absolutely banana sauce. So, Gunslinger, boost, pistol damage. That's what you're mainly going to be using. Sharpshooter uses rifles. But you still get regular headshot damage. You get increased weapon switch speed and reduced weapon recoil. Very, very good for snipers. And speaking of snipers, let's go look at the perk choices. So, Marksman is decent. I think that Sniper is better. Odds are, whenever you take Sharpshooter, your team is already camping. Sniper just makes your camping better. Marksman's good if you're running around with a Berserker, if you're like a duo. I've actually done that before with a Berserker Sharpshooter 2-man, because Marksman, or the Sharpshooter, would be taking out the husks, and I would kill literally everything else. But Marksman's good. It makes you go fast, but not too fast. Stability, again, if you're camping, you will be sitting still and crouching, and you'll get a massive damage buff. It's actually insane. The stun power is good if you're having to run a lot, so on boss waves, I would probably take Ballistic Shock, and I would probably take Marksman over Sniper as well, because you're going to continually have to move. But for every other wave, these two are really strong. Rack 'em up, you can take this. The reason I don't recommend it is because the fire rate on most of these weapons is poor. So this doesn't really help out. And especially if you're using the... I can't remember the name. You have the railgun and you have the big frickin' 50 cal sniper. They only have one-shot mags. So this is going to do next to nothing for them. Tac reload's going to really help you out. So that's the difference. I would definitely take tac reload over this. If you're not using those two guns, if you're using an EBR and you're really, really good with it, you can take Rack 'em Up and do phenomenal. But if you're using the two big guns, tac reload's better. Alright, Deadeye is okay. It's okay. I always take Always Prepared because when I end up getting my railgun, I want more ammo. Deadeye is good and increases headshot damage, which is what you should be aiming for, especially in a sniper perk. Always Prepared is just what I prefer. And you also get a extra grenade, which Sharpshooter grenades are the best in the game. Like, they're the best in the game. This one is a bit awkward. So, any headshot, Any headshot at any time, it should say. You have a 5% chance to pop Z time. Both of these have it. Sharpshooters will be getting Z times left and right. Combo with a Commando, you have Z time for days. During Z time, you increase headshot damage with perk weapons. That's really what it's for. Whenever you do pop a Z time, you're going to get 35% more headshot damage. It's really good for mobbing. Yeah, it's just really good. Ranger is meh. Ranger's meh. In Z time, you're not trying to stun. You're trying to kill. So stunning in Z time, kind of redundant. It can help out in very niche situations. Alright, SWAT. This class is literally only redeemed by the flashbang grenade. Other than that, this class sucks. It has no right to exist. So, you use really expensive ammo to shoot really expensive guns that do next to no damage. And you're a armor tank? Why is that a thing? You rely on body armor to do anything? It's not good. I hate SWATs. I wish SWATs would just die. They are a worse Berserker. They're trying to be Berserker, they're trying to be Medic, and they're trying to be like a Firebug, all wrapped into one with a bastardized Sharpshooter grenade. No, I hate them. I hate them with a passion. They're not good. Perk choices. I like to spawn with full armor, so I'm going to take that. I would recommend you start with close combat training. The last time I used this perk, you can see I was in a boss wave. Not really. Like, you take these to start with, and then you switch over. I really hate this perk. I haven't played this perk in like 3 months, man. But spawn in with these two checked, this checked, probably this. Switch over to tactical movement after wave 1, assuming you didn't lose all your armor. Cripple is really good because it's crowd control. Ammo vest is mediocre. I think that having better stumble will help your team get away, because when you have a SWAT, you have no damage and you have terrible economy, so you're going to be running for your life the entire time. Awful perk. Like, you can look at this, okay? Nothing about this perk is good. But it's at least better than this one, Survivalist. This perk sucks. It sucks so bad. You are trying to be everything. I tried to play this perk. I really did. I cannot stand this perk. So you get weapon damage per level. Cool. Okay, you're going to get 15% on every perk's weapon. Nice. Global damage resistance. You're going to end up with 25%. Cool. Berserker has more. Heavy body armor. You're going to end up with like less than SWAT and less than Field Medic. Okay. I don't even really get armor on Berserkers, as I'm sure you saw from that last tutorial video. Z time reload. Sure. You spawn with a random starter weapon, meaning you can end up with the Demolitionist grenade pistol, and it's garbage. You have a grenade, but this changes with perk choices. We'll get into that. Let's look at it. So, tac reload or heavy weapon training? What perk weapon do you use? Take that one. Medic training. So, this one, I believe, used to have the medic grenade. What happened to it? It's been a while since I looked at this. Melee expert, increase melee. Yeah, so you can try to be Berserker, but you're not. Or you can try to be Medic, but you're not. You're worse. This perk was actually made for people to join in matches late, and I hate that. I hate that about it. Ammo vest is worse than the support one. Weapon harness is you just get a Molotov cocktail for some reason. Spontaneous explosion is cool. In theory, it's the Firebug, what is it, Zed shrapnel skill. I really don't appreciate it that much. Make things go boom. The problem is, you aren't resistant to sirens when you use explosive weapons with this perk. Madman. Or Lockdown. Both suck. If I had to pick one, Lockdown. Because shooting 3 times faster in Z time, most weapons that you're going to be using are, better suited for another perk. your best bet is to try to incapacitate stuff. That's about it. So, now that that's all put away with, what are the perk rankings from best to worst? I'm going to describe it in solo play, and I'm going to describe it in team play. And I'm going to be doing this for Suicidal and Hell on Earth, where the game is actually hard. Berserker is the best perk in the game. It is the best perk in the game. It has far too much going for it with no drawback. The only Zed that will ever really give you a problem as a Berserker is a Husk. The only boss, you are good against 3 of the 4. The only boss that will give you trouble is Patty. Everything else, Berserker excels at. The second best perk in the game is Gunslinger. And if you're really accurate with headshots, you could put this above Berserker. Gunslinger is really, really quick. Movement speed is king in this game. It does a hell of a lot of damage. And your Big Zed, your trash killing, and your boss killing potentials are very, very hard to match. Gunslinger is extremely strong. I would then say a Firebug who's competent is the next best perk. It's number 3, the third best perk. This will save you so much money on ammo for the rest of your team to have a good Firebug who can clean out trash. You have no idea how much economy this saves on Hell on Earth, where money is so scarce. After Firebug, I would say Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter is kind of in the same tier as Gunslinger. It doesn't have as much damage potential, but you do have the ability to one-shot big Zeds with a railgun or the big frickin' sniper rifle. I really like Sharpshooter. I think the EBR is one of the best all-around weapons in the game, but I think Gunslinger outdoes it. You can carry 3 sets of 2 pistols. On a Gunslinger, you can carry, I believe, in a railgun and a crossbow as a Sharpshooter. Your gun's way too much. You don't really have a whole lot to kill trash with. You're exclusively locked into a role, but you're very, very good at that role. You're not limited like Demo. After this, I would go to Medic. I would say that Medic is the 5th best perk, or 4th, depending on where you rank Sharpshooter and Firebug. Medic is extremely useful. Its value goes up the more people you have in your team. Of course, alone, Medic is not strong, but with a team, it becomes godly if you know what you're doing. Field Medic is the 5th best perk in the game. Moving on from Field Medic, Commando is very strong. It's the 6th best perk, and that would be a very decent lineup if I had to pick that. Berserker, Gunslinger, Firebug, Medic, Sharpshooter, Commando. You can win every match you will ever play with that lineup. Commando is very good. It's a bullet hose when it needs to be. It's got mediocre large Z capability killing. It's got medium large Z killing capability. Very good when dealing with trash. Being able to see stalkers is also a nice bonus. And you can call out if something is about to die or not, which is very, very helpful for numerous reasons, mainly being, does the Berserker need to go face tank it, or can it be mowed down? After Commando, it kind of divulges into a crapshoot. I would say probably Support is next best. Support's really good against certain clusters of enemies, because you can mow them down with a M4 or an M10. I'm sorry, it's an M10. Don't kill me. M10. The AA-12 is one of the best weapons in the game because it does so much damage. So much damage. It's insane. Giving your team ammo is very helpful on Hell on Earth. This goes up in value the more players you have as well. Welding is very useful, but at the same time, most often you will end up camping in a spot where once that door blows, you will never repair it. You'll just deal with it. After Support, I would say Demo. Demo is very bad. It's good in very, very few cases. You're locked in to being a flesh pound killer. Other perks can do that better. cheaper and with more versatility. Demo's not that great. SWAT is garbage. I hate this perk. It's only slightly better than Survivalist. So, to recap, Berserker, Gunslinger, Firebug, Sharpshooter, Field Medic, Commando, Support, Demo, SWAT, Survivalist. That's the perk tier list. Comment down below what your perk tier list is. Tell me if you disagree with me. Tell me why. Give me some justification. We'll have a little conversation down there. Leave a like if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new around here so you don't miss an upload. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.